This recording is an offering of Networks for Training and Development's online university.
I'd like to welcome everybody to this call on Monday, September 2nd, Labor Day for those of us in the States. And I'd like to start off with reflecting on a self-care that I like to engage in and that I welcome everybody to explore. As a reminder, this call and session is anonymous, and we do ask that phones are muted to allow everybody to have the same experience to begin our 20 minutes of relaxation. So I'd like to introduce you to something that I've come across in the last few years. I'm Jen Williams. I'm part of the Holistic Practices Advisory Board, and I'm also an LMT. I started to explore Hygge, Hygge, and Hygge is a Danish term for contentment and coziness. When I considered doing this call, I was thinking of what I had to offer and to share with others. And then instantly, Hygge came to mind. I think it's a great opportunity, especially as we are approaching the end of summer and beginning of fall, and looking for ways in which we can comfort ourselves, each other. When I think of Hygge, I think of warmth and comfort and togetherness. I think of safety. And when I think of those things, it'd be a great thing to share with so many who are going through a lot of different emotions as the season changes. September and fall is a time of change. It's a time of reaping what we've sown. And so I ask you to join as we consider what we've harvested so far this year. What's come into fruition for us? What are we looking forward to? And what does our harvest intend to give us? Thinking of these things, I started to jot down some notes on some of the things that I'm looking for in my own harvest, some of the seeds that I hope that I've sown, and some of the outcomes that I'm looking for in my harvest. I also think it has this great sense of birth and growth. And I think ultimately those of us who are participating with networks and through the Healing Circle, we're all seeking comfort and healing and personal growth. So, Hygge. It's a very interesting term, and it's something that, as I've learned, is what really pulls the Danish community together. For those of you who may not know, Denmark is, and Norway, pretty much that whole area, are always in the top 10 of happiest places to live. And not for tropical island weather or, it's really because of this whole idea of being able to be content in your surroundings and among your people. It's kind of a return to simpler times. It's cozying up with hot tea or cocoa or coffee. It's sitting by the hearth and surrounded by good company. It's simple meals but hearty soups, and it's just a sense of ease. It's the simple pleasures, but it's also being very mindful in each moment. The harsh winters of Denmark and Norway kind of lend to this need for coziness. And so often, if you look on Pinterest or somewhere else, you'll see typically, big knit sweaters and blankets and fuzzy socks. There's usually some kind of light element because you think of the winters, how they can grow dark, and just being together with everyone and lighting candles and fairy lights, having friends and family come together with some potlucks, and really appreciating the outdoors for all that it offers, but also being content with huddling around your friends and family with fire pits and things of that nature to really get down to being at ease. One of my favorite parts is also the fact of reading books and enjoying and taking place in some mindful activities like yoga and, walking in nature. And so I thought that as the season is going to be changing soon, we've already had some ups and downs lately in the past couple of weeks, but this is something that hopefully will be a toolbox entry for you to create a warm and comfortable and friendly environment as seasons change and life changes, and just ways in which we can honor ourselves and our friends and make time for ourselves and our family, whether that's through making time for yourself with meditation, muscle relaxation. It could be something as simple as having mindfulness and reciting intentions as you make a cup of tea, or your morning beverage of choice. It's living without distraction and working towards a life where you're intending, where you're putting your energy forth to create opportunities not only for yourself, but for the better of those around you. What I love about Hygge is that it's not something that is best in one season. There's things that you can do in every season. I think of fall and I think of apple cider and a hot chocolate and pumpkins and hay rides and walks in nature, and for you it might look a little different, but Hygge is personal contentment. So what works for one person is not necessarily the best cookie cutter approach for the next. I love how individualistic it can be, but how it can also be so soul-nourishing and rejuvenating. So it's one of the things that I wanted to share. And I hope that you get something out of it similar to what I've had the opportunity to do. And I just invite you to try and see if that's something that speaks to you. Next, I wanted to kind of wrap up and look at a progressive muscle relaxation. When I do muscle relaxation, kind of the closest I get to meditation. And it's something that I think from a massage therapist standpoint is closer to my wheelhouse. And so I've found a few different scripts, and I can share them as well. I have altered almost every script to speak the words that I would prefer to hear and read. So I invite you to adjust accordingly to make this something that's your own. What I'd like to start with is really just talking about our breath. We have the power with our breath to control our body and our body's reactions and our brain's reactions to just about everything we experience. You think of breath, and I kind of remind people, why do you think that for somebody who is in birthing classes, you practice on breath and lamas, and for people who are very athletic, they practice on their breath to get through difficult barriers as they're running a marathon. And in addition to that, I think breath, just being able to control whether or not you engage in a reaction, especially a stressful reaction or alerting reaction. I find that breathing and having some of this self-care to remind myself of who I am and where I am kind of grounds me. So I do like to start off talking about how our breaths are unique to ourselves. So what some people will say, you must have certain breath counts. For me, was quite challenging. And I think you have to work up to what you find is relaxing and what engages your parasympathetic nervous system. So typically starting off with what they call square breathing, breathing in for 4 counts, holding your breath for 4 counts, and then breathing out for 4 counts. There are also breathing techniques that have you tracing the outlines of leaves, which, for this might be even more suitable. I just wanted to share that, the breathing, although learning yourself through your breath is key, doesn't mean you have to breathe as somebody else does or thinks that you should. So there is no judgment, and I invite you to do the things that you feel comfortable with, and I invite you to leave the things that you don't feel comfortable with. There's no judgment, and this is really just time for you. So, clearly, if you're driving, don't close your eyes. Or if you don't feel comfortable, don't close your eyes. And this can be open eyes or closed eyes. I ask that if you feel comfortable closing your eyes, clearly make sure that you're in a safe environment to do so. And if you're leaving your eyes open, try to fix on an area to limit some external distraction. So in starting with a brief progressive muscle relaxation, we're going to do breathing in, holding our breath, and releasing to the counts that feel best for you. I invite you to kind of check in with yourself and your thoughts and what's going on and what you feel in your body. You can be seated, you can be laying down, whatever position feels right to you, feels most comfortable and safe for you. Notice what you notice. Don't judge. There are no expectations. This is just a moment for you to engage with your body and have that connection. I'd like to start, and I invite you to make a fist in your right hand, tensing the muscles in your forearm and allowing the rest of your arm to remain relaxed. Study the sensations of that tension. Compare the tension and the tense muscles and the relaxed one and the opposite arm. When you're ready, take your breath in. And as you exhale, slowly and gradually release all that tension until every last bit of the tension is released. You may imagine it's like a fire hose that's really rigid at first and then becomes really flexible as the water drains out. Or whatever image speaks to you. We're going to spend a few moments appreciating the sensations in the muscles that are now relaxed. And we're going to repeat this on our left fist and forearm, tensing and holding, allowing the rest of your arm to feel relaxed. You're going to study the sensations of that tension and compare them to the previous arm. And when you're ready, take a breath in. And then as you exhale, slowly release the tension until every last bit is released. I invite you to raise your right shoulder up towards your ears. Tense the muscles in the upper arm and shoulder. And study those sensations of tension. Releasing the weight of the world as you breathe in, hold, and breathe out. Lowering your shoulder and feeling that sensation of release in your neck and shoulder. I'm going to spend a second just studying and appreciating that sensation. And then once you're relaxed, how that's changing. I invite you to do this with your left upper arm and shoulder, lifting all the way up to your ear, lowering up to your ear, taking that breath in, holding, and releasing. Feeling the sensations as they warm your shoulder and neck, and how that differs from when you first started. So typically this is a relaxation that I do. And I choose different areas. Right now I choose arms and shoulders and neck. There's also scripts that have lower legs and arms and belly. But I find that without knowing everyone who's on the call and with you just starting to engage in this, that we would start off in areas that may feel more comfortable. And I thank you really for joining in and considering trying some of these things. Just really having an opportunity to explore relaxation in a way that is meaningful to each one of you, and making some considerations and sharing what worked. I keep little notes of phrases and things that help me, quotes and things that keep me out of my head when I need to be out and in it when I need to be in. So really appreciate the honor of leading this conversation on the fall and Hygge and self-care and how important it is for each and every one of us. And, adding in a little bit of relaxation because we all deserve it. So thank you, one and all. I hope that this session finds you well, and I hope that everything that you've sown comes through in that last harvest, and nothing but healing and happiness is coming your way. Amazing. Remain safe and happy, and know that we're all here, and no matter what it is, we'll get through it together. Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening. We hope the information provided was helpful. Don't forget to stop by our website and take advantage of all we have to offer.